Hey everybody, welcome back to Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler, and this week we are playing Burchett Blue, or Mono Blue Tempo. But hey, Autumn Burchett won the Mythic Championship with this deck in Standard. And you know what? Let's try it in Modern. I want to give them a shout out for that. I got to cover the finals. It was really exciting. So you know what? We're basically playing the Standard Mono Blue Tempo deck here in Modern. It's pretty neat. Also, I should shout out my friend James at home, who has been playing this deck locally and putting up a bunch of 3-1 finishes at F&M with it. Right, that's a really powerful concept, and we're gonna have a lot of fun with this deck. We've got some sweet one drops. It's not just all the standard stuff. We have added, obviously, of course, some new stuff, as you see, like Mana Leak, which is really sweet here. If our opponent's going to try for a Liliana or what have you on the next turn. We also have Mausoleum Wanderer, which is a really nice one-drop. It flies, it protects your other creatures. It's got a lot going for it. So this deck, I think, has a reasonable chance in Modern of being a really good deck. Now, it is certainly slower. That is definitely the biggest problem playing this deck in Modern. But we'll see what we can do here. We're only playing 18 lands, so this is quite a few we're getting rid of here. All right, there we go. Really want a Curious Obsession. We're not quite there yet. But, you know what? We're still in an okay spot, at least. We're controlling the board a little bit. And remember, Pteramander is a fairly broken card. I don't know what our opponent's up to here. The worst thing they could do is play Lingering Souls. But we are protected for now with Mana Leak. Going to the Mythic Championship was really cool. It was a great event. I was really happy to get to cover it. I really enjoyed it. Siege Rhino, huh? Okay, well, that's worth a Mana Leak. Just straight Abzan, I guess we're playing against, maybe. All right, well, we were unable to find anything that did anything, which is unfortunate here. So we're just gonna have to poke our opponent down for 2. We have the dive down, so I mean my opponent's got to have removal at some point here, right? They do. Worth noting, they do have a reach creature with the Stirring Wildwood. All right, we Mana Leaked 1 Siege Rhino. Let's see what's next. If we had Curious Obsession, though, we would just be rolling right now, right? We would just be dominating this game. Yeah, another Siege Rhino. Okay, fair enough. I guess I don't really want to Vapor Snag it, but I do want to activate my Pteramander. Wow, a Stitcher Supplier, huh? Well, that is a card I just don't care at all about. Might Vapor Snag that. Oh my gosh. And Burial Rites, huh? On a Siege Rhino? Well, this is going to get kind of annoying, actually. I guess I'll Vapor Snag. Oh my gosh, Vapor Snag and Siege Rhino feels so bad, but I actually think I have to do this. It gets the spell into our graveyard, which is important, but honestly, more importantly, it stops our opponent from killing us, and they've already got Siege Rhinos next turn anyways. We just want to be able to get this Pteramander going here. This Pteramander will, in theory, at least in the game, pretty quickly. Right now, it's going to cost 4, which leaves us with 1 mana after. I mean, that is enough to play a dive down, so Copter's nice, but attacking for 6, much nicer. This is the kind of thing. Pteramander is just a broken card in Modern and Legacy. It's extremely powerful. Is it Delver? No. Is it better than Delver? Maybe not, but it is pretty close. So, all right, we have Dive Down if our opponent has removal here. If they go for a Siege Rhino, they go for a Siege Rhino. We'll hit them with a 5/5 again. And if they go for something else, we'll deal with that. I'm most concerned about Lingering Souls. That is the card that we have the hardest time beating. Siege Rhino, though, casting from hand, that is a card I think we can beat. They're getting in there for 1. All right, fair enough. We have our opponent dead in, I guess, 2 turns currently. Oh, there we go. There's a Curious Obsession. That is what we were looking for. I guess I'll put this on the Mausoleum Wanderer. It's worth noting, by the way, that when you sacrifice Mausoleum Wanderer, it counters an instant or sorcery unless they pay X or X equal to its power. And that means Curious Obsession means they have to pay 2. Not that we want to sacrifice that one, but still. That said, I think we're in a pretty reasonable spot here. Ooh, a Tempest Gen. I'm in. I'll play a 5/4 flyer for 3. Pass the turn with Dive Down up. I mean, yeah, what's our opponent supposed to do right here? They're in quite a bit of trouble. In fact, without anything else, they're just dead, right? So I'm just going to take this damage here. Don't want to kill the supplier and let him mill something even more terrifying. Yeah, I'd say it's probably Lingering Souls or bust. We have a lethal attack in the air, even through the Stirring Wildwood at the moment, and we have the dive down, so they need blockers more than anything here. And if they do, then we might be in trouble. Now, you know, they could Burial Rights the Siege Rhino, go back up to 9, put us down to 5, but that doesn't actually save them because then the Stirring Wildwood can't block. So my opponent needs, I mean, nothing, I guess. They're dead. That was sweet. We did it. We mono blue tempoed them right on out. All right, what do we want here? I guess I want the relics. I guess so, right? I didn't see much removal. I guess I can cut the peaks. The peaks they're nice. They're nice cantrips. You get to see what your opponent's doing, and that does matter in this deck. But, you know, at the same time, we kind of now know what they're up to. They're going to reanimate stuff. We need some graveyard hate. So, definitely want these. I'd say negates, but probably deprive is a little better, right? And deprive is actually honestly a pretty sweet card in the deck. I'm going to cut a snag because snag is just worse. I'm going to give this a shot, I think. It's hard to say. We saw so little out of our opponent there. I'm going to bring in an Echoing Truth, actually. I'm going to cut a leak. I mean, we have the dive downs here, so we have more counter magic. I think I'm okay with this line. It's hard to sideboard with this deck. Certainly, obviously not an expert in it. But I'm into this hand, right? If we can just rip a land off the top, this hand is going to be sweet. Pteramander into Obsession plus Mausoleum Wanderer to protect it. And then just deprive everything they do for the rest of the game. That's how we draw it up. We did not quite get there. That's okay, though. Because we actually, you know, we still have options. If my opponent holds up, you know, represents removal or whatever, I don't have to go for the Curious Obsession. I just play another 1-drop if I want. And that is what they're going to do, so... Oh, never mind. I was going to say, I'm willing to give them the respect, but this is it. We hit the land. We get to play Mausoleum Wanderer. My opponent has to make a decision right now. And they are going to go ahead and path it. So this is great for us. We go get our third land. We get to have a Mausoleum Wanderer, and we get to have a Pteramander anyways. You know, I guess we missed out on damage this way, but if my opponent didn't have that path, we were going to put a Curious Obsession on it, have the Mausoleum Wanderer protect it, get in for 2 and draw a card. So, you know, just like that, now my opponent basically needs a board wipe, right? Lingering Soul is obviously still very good. And there it is. Okay. Well, this is going to be the hardest card for us to beat, basically at any point here, so I accept that. You know, that said, though, we actually are still got some stuff working for us here. I'll bottom that, and I'll draw a dive down. Yeah, I'm in. I'm going to put the Curious Obsession on the... The question is if I want to burn the dive down for this. I don't know. So I could put the Curious Obsession on a creature. I could attack. My opponent double blocks. I use dive down. We're kind of in the same position next turn, though. It's a little awkward, especially that you have to attack with the creatures. So Lingering Soul is definitely the best card against us. You know, we're missing Mistcloaked Herald right about now. Yeah, Lingering Soul just buys them the most possible time. If we're lucky, they'll attack, and then I can deprive the back half of it. Nope. Surely they're going to cast something. With double deprive, though, you know, we're able to just sit back, and it may take us forever to actually figure out a way to kill our opponent. But, you know, we should be able to, in theory, put something together here. And they go for the Siege Rhino, and I get to deprive it. So this is great. You know, we're basically enacting our game plan right now. We're putting instants and sorceries into our graveyard for our Pteramander, and there is an opt, and that's a nice one too. I don't think I want land. I don't hate land, to be honest, but I don't think I want it here. Ah, Trickster. Trickster's pretty good. I am just going to pass as we have the deprive up still. I don't know that it's correct to play this really slow game, and you know, we're not playing Wizard's Retort. We're playing mana leaks and deprives, and I think it's better, to be honest. But a Satyr Wayfinder, huh? You can have a Satyr Wayfinder. So it's actually just like Abzan Reanimator, Abzan Rites or something. Yep, and there is the Burial Rites. So, okay, we'll see what my opponent does here. The Lingering Soul. So the problem is, it's actually really rough because I guess I'm just going to have to deprive this. I really, really don't want to, but I do kind of think that I have to. They can get back their Siege Rhino, but, you know, we beat Siege Rhino last game. That doesn't seem too bad. And now we actually even have some more options. I'm going to Trickster down one of these tokens. And then I'm just going to put the Obsession on my Pteramander, and I think I'm just going to go for it. You know, we still have the dive down, but we're out of gas past this. So we kind of have to try to make something happen here. And our opponent is certainly not out of gas. The problem is they do get these, you know, essentially free blocks for a while, and it's going to buy them a lot of time. But we had to start putting some amount of pressure on. If they have 4 tokens there, and I try to hold the deprive instead for later, I don't know if that would have been better or not, to be honest. It's hard to say. It honestly might have been. You know, my plan is to pressure them through the air as much as possible here while they, you know, try to actually set up something to kill us. And here they are, you know, spending 4 mana to get their Siege Rhino. And that is obviously quite good, but we're slowly making some progress here. Ah, Relic. Right on time, am I right? All right, so we have 4 over there, so this is now going to cost 4. So that seems fine. Just get in with this. Okay, so this is going to come down, I think, to what's left in their hand here, because having the Relic out, pretty solid. We can turn our Pteramander into a 6/6 next turn, or I'm sorry, at the end step here, and then be able to crack the Relic on our turn if we want to dig deeper into our deck. So, you know, assuming it's on another Pteramander on top, we actually do have the ability to play these 2 cards in a way that makes sense with each other. So, but that said, we're kind of out of options here. We're just gonna have to go for this and, you know, hope for the best. And maybe you can argue that I shouldn't have tapped out here. In fact, did I just lose myself the game? I very well might have. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. It's so mana inefficient to not do that, though. Yeah. Fair enough. And I guess Mausoleum Wander was never going to protect it from that anyways. Dive Down would have. Alright, well, you know what? Lesson learned. Lesson learned. You know, I could have untapped and gone for it and have the dive down up. It probably would have been better. Yeah, that misplay might cost me the game, to be honest. We'll see. This, of course, being the downside of... Alright, there's a Storm Tamer. Well, we have a lot of stuff working for us here. Unfortunately, it's not quite enough. Now, what if if I had kept it, I could have tried to turn it into a 5/5. You know what? And I could have dived down and protected it, started drawing cards, and honestly might have been able to win this game that way. So, lesson learned here. Our opponent's playing with plenty of removal. That said, it's probably not over. I mean, we basically need a Curious Obsession into Trickster and our opponent to not have too much. This hand developed a little awkwardly, but I cost myself the chance to even race, so definitely on me. All right, let's see what we hit here. Another island. We bottomed a lot of islands this game to hit nothing but islands, huh? All right, I think that's good enough. Our opponent's got the Stirring Wildwood up to block here. Let's try game 3. Maybe I like some Spreading Seas. Didn't see anything with that we really need Echoing Truth. We get the other Dismember here. Dismembers are just going to be better than the Snag. Thing is, I do mostly like what we have going on here, but I do have to cut something. I guess I'll go back down to 1 Dismember. I'm trying to be the aggressive role here, and I guess I'm in for this hand. I don't think we can mulligan this one. We finally get to be on the play. We have a 1-drop, a Pteramander even. And we have protection for it after that, and opt to hopefully find us, ideally a Curious Obsession. What I really think this deck might want, remember, I'm playing 2 Peaks in here is what I view as a definite flex spot. But it definitely seems possible that you could be running just literal Curiosity whenever enchanted creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, or just damage anyways. One of those two. Certainly possible. Oh my gosh! We did it, everybody! I'm just very good at Magic. This is the dream. Living the dream, just like in Standard. Curious Obsession onto a Pteramander with protection on turn 2. And I will not make the mistake this game of opening this up for removal. All right. Get to pass the turn with Spell Pierce up. Then we get untapped and try to opt into something in addition to drawing a card with Curious Obsession. A couple counter spells here and we will be on our way. Oh no, they're going to have the Abrupt Decay. Oh no. Oh, never mind. It's a Grizzly Salvage. I guess that's fine. No need to Spell Pierce that. I was so scared. And they took they put a Lingering Souls in their graveyard. I mean, that's certainly annoying. Oh, there's our dive down. I'm in. Oh, this is perfect. I was a little worried that, hey, we were going to kind of waste this turn or whatever here. But look, we get to attack. We get to deal our damage, draw our card. Oh my gosh, another Pteramander. But I'm actually going to go with the Mausoleum Wanderer here instead. I wonder if I want the other Pteramander or not. Probably. I think that either Dive Down or Spell Pierce will work here. Our opponent doesn't have that much mana to work with. I don't think we're going to need both, so I think I just want to put as much damage into play as possible. And, it also works out if this turn, if we use one of these protection spells, next turn we can tap out, we can play our Tempest Gem with 3 mana, play our last land out of our hand, and have the other one up, and it's very mana efficient, and we have Pteramanders getting in there, the whole time. So we're going to get choked. That's what Spell Pierce is for, everybody. Choke, not allowed to resolve today. Get out of here. That would have been terrifying, though, huh? All right. Siren Storm Tamer. I love this deck. I love it. Getting on in there, drawing some more cards, filling up our graveyard for Pteramanders. That's actually just beautiful. All right, I'm going to play the... So what do we lose? We'd lose to nothing here. That's what we lose to, right? We lose to nothing. I'll play the Tempest Gem, because this, I think, means we can try to kill him next turn. I was thinking it, we don't lose to Damnation or Wrath or whatever because we have Mausoleum Wanderer in play. And we don't lose to spot removal because of Dive Down. They have to do... We would get choked. That would not be very fun, but we'd probably just kill him in the air after that. All in all, I would say we're in a very good spot right now. All right, they want to path our Tempest Gem. Do I want that to happen? I don't think so. I think that we have enough going on right now. I can fight over this. I think if my opponent wants to path it, I want to fight over it. Now, this might mean this very well might mean they open up and they kill our Pteramander with whatever. But then we have our Tempest Gem, right? So this is going to be difficult for my opponent, I think, no matter how they sequence it here or what they have, even if they're able to have a removal spell to follow. And Lingering Souls, sure. Lingering Souls is not something I'm too concerned about right now. Lingering Souls is good. It probably is the start of them getting back into this game. I'll just hit a Curious Obsession, though. All right, how do I want to play this here? I think I want to play Mausoleum Wanderer to pump our other Mausoleum Wanderer up. Which is actually even more value than it seems, because it means that this Curious Obsession on it makes it a 3/3. Siren Stormtamer, get on in there. And now we have protection up again. So, let's see here. This gets sacrificed if you didn't attack with a creature this turn, huh? But you know what? I'm just going to send in the team, right? There's no reason not to. If my opponent tries to make double blocks to get one Curious Obsession off the field, it means, one, they're taking 7 damage, and 2, we get to draw a card anyways. So, most likely they're going to go for double chump blocks and hope to find, you know, a board wipe here. All right, let's see what we hit. A Trickster. So, okay. There you go, everybody. I think we're going to be all right here. Even if it's... The crazy thing is, even if it's Damnation or Wrath of God or Dave, whatever, right? Anything other than Supreme Verdict, we have one Mausoleum Wanderer, sacrifice to counter it for 2. So, our opponent is just in a world of trouble right now. And we have Siren Stormtamer up on top of that. How crazy is this deck? Now, I'm nowhere near as good as Autumn was when they won the Mythic Championship. I was really, really impressed. Honestly, kind of amazed at watching some of the lines they took. Clear that they had practiced the deck a ton and gotten very proficient at it. So it was a lot of fun. So, all right, do I want to counter this? Is my opponent just dead if I do? I think they're just dead if I counter this. It feels so weird to throw this away, but... They could play a land and flash it back. My hand's a little worse. I'll just let them have it. We have a Merfolk Trickster. That's fine. Let them have it. Yeah, Supplier. So our opponent might just be dead no matter what here. What is this? Just okay, that's a cool one. All right, another Pteramander, huh? All right, so I think I'm just going to Trickster down one of the tokens and then just swing out and see what happens. I think this is lethal, right? Even if my opponent were, say, to block, you know, the Pteramander or whatever, that's the scariest one, right? Then they take lethal. So they chomp and they take 4, 5, 6, 7. That's awkward. Okay, well, fair enough. Get in for 7 then. Still think we're going to be... something tells me we're going to be just absolutely all right here. We get to draw 2 more cards. Oh, that's a land. And that's a land. All right, well, fair enough. Okay, well, we'll pass the turn back. I guess our opponent has a window here. But with double Mausoleum Wanderer and Siren Stormtamer up, the cards that get them out of this one, pretty few and far between. Not going to say they don't exist. Flashing back Lingering Souls, okay. Yeah, that one's not going to be good enough with you at 1 life. Everything's lethal. We did it! Burchett Blue. Modern, taking it down. Mono Blue Tempo. It's kind of like Merfolk, right? But with Curious Obsession. I love it, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Corbin Hostler. This was a lot of fun. You know what? Hey, let's do it again. What an awesome deck. Really, really happy that Mistcloaked Herald won a Mythic Championship, by the way, if I haven't mentioned that. Hey, everybody. Here we go with some more Burchett Blue. Our opponent wins the dice roll. Leads on a fancy Bird's Paradise over there. And oh, interesting. Do I bolt the bird, right? Someone told me once, you bolt the bird in Magic. So we will bolt the bird, or in this case, dismember the bird and take 4 damage. But I don't know if that's right or not. I know if we had won the play, this game would have been really sweet, but we did not do that. However, this isn't so bad here. I'm actually just going to pass the turn here because the thing is, playing 2 Mausoleum Wanderers this turn and attacking for 2 next turn is the same as playing 1 and, attacking for 2 next turn by playing the other one then. And this allowed me to keep up interaction, and I get to Spell Pierce this Utopia Sprawl. I don't know if my opponent, needs it or not, but I killed their bird. I may as well continue the theme, and it worked. Look at that. We actually Get rid of the Utopia Sprawl and they can't do much. And now I can peek, see what they're up to. Oh my gosh. Huh. Death Cloud is the answer. If you'll remember, I played this on Mighty Modern a couple months ago. Green-Black Death Cloud, man, it is an incredible deck. It's really cool. That said, this hand not very good for them. So that's great. All right, we have our third land. I have a Siren Stormtamer and another Mausoleum Wanderer. And I get to attack. So keep in mind here, if my opponent does hit their land and they go to Maelstrom Pulse, the Mausoleum Wanderers, I can sacrifice the one that it's targeting, which would then cause the spell to fizzle and the other to survive. My poor opponent here, they have this Arbor Elf, and I'm just going to Vapor Snag it, which is like Dismembering it, only it feels way worse. I don't think I want this, TBH. I want something that's going to be good right now, and you know, the risk was drawing a land there, but I don't know. I don't know if we're going to be able to close. We have to find something to close, and more 1-drops aren't closing. Desperately need, you know, a Curious Obsession or a Tempest Shin or something to push it through before my opponent gets going, because if they do get going, that can get back in the game pretty quickly. It's a Pteramander, though. I like that. 5 instants and sorceries in my graveyard. That's looking pretty good. That's exactly what we want. And now, all of a sudden, just drawing that Pteramander just completely changes things, because it's not lethal, I suppose. We're not looking at lethal. We're looking at having 8 damage next turn. But with the Siren Stormtamer to protect, our Pteramander, we should be able to turn it into a 5/5 here. 5 spells in our graveyard. That means it's going to cost 3. And that means we can do this and still keep up the Siren Stormtamer. And you know what? This also, if my opponent does something crazy like play Vraska, and even get something like that, this card is just so good. All right, the Utopia Sprawl, unfortunately, does resolve. And unfortunately, my opponent does get to kind of go crazy here with their mana. But, you know, unless it's something really good, they need a Death Cloud or something. But even that, there's just actually, Kitchen Finks is fine. Kitchen Finks not winning my opponent this game. You know, they are going to have access to more mana next turn, but Kitchen Finks not exactly what they were looking for. Pteramander doing its Pteramander thing. Let's see what we get with our opt. Counter spell, please. Counter magic. That's like counter magic, but not quite the same. I'm going to bottom it. Another Pteramander, huh? Wonder if I should play it. Probably not, right? Just not really any upside gain from playing it. Our opponent's at 3. We know they played the Finks, which means they have Vraska, Damnation, Maelstrom Pulse, and Monvuli Acid Moss. Okay. Well, yeah, this game's not over. The Damnation is kind of going to get us. Not the way my opponent wants, though. They're, you know, though, honestly, they're back in the game, I think, because if they hit land, is that what it comes down to? Because they can make 4 mana with the Arbor Elf Utopia Sprawl 5. Damnation costs 4. I can sack 2 Mausoleum Wanderers. They have to have... So if they have an untapped land, even a shock land, they can get this. But if they don't, they're going to die to our Pteramander. But yeah, if they do get to Damnation, yeah, they're going to lose some of their board. They're going to get their Finks back. We're going to play another Pteramander. We're going to be able to adapt it. But unless we draw protection, it's just going to get Maelstrom Pulse on the following turn. So I'm hoping that our opponent going into the tank here means that they just don't actually have a way to beat all the protection we have. Mausoleum Wanderer, everybody. Yeah, we did it. Our opponent had a handful of removal, and none of it's any good. I can't believe we won that game. That was sweet. All right. Now, I definitely want spreading. I want all of this in here, honestly. This is all great. Trying to figure out what I don't want. Everything here is so good. The Tricksters don't seem great. They seem fine. They honestly don't seem great. Our opponent's going to win with Planeswalkers. The dive downs are good. We don't need the peaks. Wow, I have so many things I have to cut, though. Do I want the snags? I don't know if I want the snags. I think my plan... I think I have a plan. I think my plan is going to be to, for the most part anyways, fight over... I just don't know what to do here. I'm just going to try to trim at the edges, I think, rather than be... And this is something I like to do. I don't know if other people do. And, I don't know if it's correct or what have you, but I'm going to cut it manually too. I like to kind of cut at the edges, go down to 3 on a bunch of cards, because our deck has a bunch of pieces, and you don't want to lose those pieces. And sometimes it's easy. You can just cut 4 of, but I tend to just kind of like to make everything a little more... a little bit more focused on still having the same deck, just with some tweaks, right? That's what I'm looking at. So, all right, opponent has a bird. We can't do anything about it this time around. But I've made the decision outside of the two dismembers. I'm gonna try not to fight over the creatures. I am just gonna try to fight over the payoff spells. Oh, that might not matter. We got choked. What's with everybody playing choke? Can I win? I guess I can win. I shouldn't scoop. Maybe my opponent kept a terrible hand as a choke. I'm going to play his island, play Spreading Seas. Or, I'm sorry, Copter. Copter most certainly seems like our best way to actually find some things for the rest of the game to win here. Our opponent's got plenty of mana, that's for sure. Maybe it's not a Deathcloud deck, right? Deathcloud definitely wouldn't make sense with all these creatures. It looks similar to it, though. All right, there's another island. All right, give me a Copter. I love Smuggler's Copter in Modern. I don't know if it's correct to play it in this deck or in any deck, but I do know that I really enjoy the card. And in a deck full of blue 1-power 1-drops, seems like it fits pretty well, especially one that, has some pretty poor top decks, you might say. Although better in this one than in Standard. In Standard, you're top decking Mistcloaked Heralds or what have you. In this, you top deck Mausoleum Wanderer, that's protection. You top deck Storm Tamer, that's protection. Top deck Pteramander, it's insane. Our top deck creatures are actually pretty solid here, but I don't know if we're going to beat Choke. Although if my opponent is on the attack with Arbor Elf plan, you never know. Also, for what it's worth, I don't think I'm going to get the opportunity here. I'm bringing in the Echoing Truce, by the way, next game. I might have put him in here already. I don't remember. I can turn their lands into an island with Spreading Seas. But Copter's actually kind of sweet. It allows us to turn, cards that we're really never going to be able to cast, like Spreading Seas, into land. So we hopefully at least spam out some 1-drops here. And honestly, Copter's kind of hard to beat. Just as is, right? It's a 3/3. 3/3 flyer. It's doing work, putting in damage. So, we can... It also allows us to loot instants and sorceries into our graveyard so that maybe eventually, who knows, maybe we'll activate a Pteramander for 1 mana, have a 5/5, and end the game that way. I think we're far enough behind here we're not going to win, but, at least the way it's currently going, our opponent's giving us a sliver of hope. I'm just kidding. There are no slivers here. And definitely no slivers of hope. They're actually, really sad, right? It's scary bugs. Not a very hopeful tribe. All right, so I actually want to undo... What do I want to do here? I think I want to play Pteramander, crew the Copter, and then sort of go to work here. It really doesn't take much from our opponent to beat us. But I'll play like we have a chance. Get in with the Wanderer and the Copter here. Or at least attempt to. What are we going to... We're going to get a... my opponent plays Abrupt Decays, huh? This was going to be tough. The thing is, I actually think our deck is just incredibly set up to beat theirs. Maelstrom Pulse, Abrupt Decays, those are things we eat for breakfast with Dive Down and Spell Pierce. But sneaking a turn 2 choke in on us, that's just dirty. All right, there's a Garrick. I mean, technically, Garrick doesn't beat us here. It's the worst Planeswalker payoff they could have. It just makes more mana. They already had 6 mana, which surely was enough to cast most of what they wanted. We are now in the unfortunate position of not being able to loot with our copter, so all of our islands are no more. And our Pteramander, by the way, still costs 8 to activate. Alright, looks like my opponent's found something. They're going to make 4 mana here to Damnation. They want a Damnation with their Garrick in play, so I guess I have to counter it. I was trying to figure that play out. Killing 3 of their own creatures, not very good, but I mean, I guess... And it doesn't matter, though. I think we're just dead. Our opponent, we're not getting there at that point. Our opponent, we have no instants of sorceries in our graveyard. It's just not happening. Echoing Truths, please. Spell Pierce, please. Copter is good, though. Dismembers, you're out. We're ignoring their creatures. New plan. That is a lot of Spell Pierces we are playing, though. I'm going to go down to... I might go down to 2. We have so many... We have so much counter magic right now. I'm going to cut a mana leak. I think this is probably fine. It's really hard to know. Yeah, I'm into this hand. No Curious Obsession, which is, you know, what every hand needs to become insane, but it is actually pretty reasonable. You know, we have Spell Pierce for the choke this time around, or whatever else. We have plenty of 1-drops if we want to go that route. If my opponent, you know, weren't to have ramp, which they did. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just spend the next couple turns playing out 1-drops and attacking. I wish at least these 1-drops were more Mausoleum Wanderers, but you go to battle with the army you have, as they say. Oh no, did my opponent miss? Uh-oh, friend. Oh, and I hit mine. Well, this was risky for them, and hate to say it, but I don't know if it's going to pay off. 2 mana right now. We have 4 1-power flyers. I'm just going to try to attack you for a bunch here. Are we going to get decayed? You're welcome to decay 1. Yep. All right. Well, that's fine. Yeah, I guess I should have attacked first. Maybe my opponent would have taken it. Whatever. Maybe. Yeah, that was a misplay. I tend to just have a terrible habit of that, both on Arena and on MTGO. All right, so my opponent, unfortunately for us, they did hit a land here. So if they had missed one more turn, I would have felt much better about our chances. This is going to be more challenging. I will be spell piercing this choke, though. I'm at least not going to lose the choke again. Ooh. Value. Check this out. By the way, this says enchant forest. You know what that means? It means if it's not a forest, it's not enchanting it. Them's the breaks. So that was huge. That was a stone rain. Our opponent think about the swing there. Our opponent paid 3 mana. They tried to choke us, which would just obliterate us. Doesn't work. Well, okay, I'm just kidding. I guess it does. Never mind. Ignore everything I said about how awesome our plays were. Land? Pteramander. The thing is, though, if we had hit land there, we could have played Tempest Chin. All right. I guess we weren't ever supposed to win this game. My opponent kept a 1-lander with Utopia Sprawl. We even blew that up, and they've drawn 3 lands in a row now after missing once. So, yeah, this one's going to be pretty rough, I think. I mean, this is lethal in 2 turns. I don't know what they're doing over there. They're going to abrupt decay our spreading seas so they can untap their forest. Huh. Fair enough, I guess. Here comes Damnation. Yep, can't do anything about that. Land for Tempest Shin? Tempest Shin for Tempest Shin, huh? Yeah, that one probably does us in. That's too bad. Our deck is just definitely a good matchup against our opponents. And we're not... Unfortunately, we were not able to pay that off. I mean, just whiffing on a bunch of draw steps in a row here has been pretty rough. Our opponent having... I mean, they kept a greedy hand because they had double choke, and then they got lucky and drew lands off the top. So I don't know if we were ever going to win there. You know, if our... Like, because our opponent's hand is all gas. We did almost race him out. And we stopped one choke. I mean, maybe if their final 3 cards are nothing, we can get into a good position with this Pteramander, but it's going to be hard. Oh, that's cute. Well, I guess I can spend my mana now. That's not a land. That's not a land. All right, how many instances of sorceries do we have? That's basically our only shot, right? 1, 2, huh? 2 not going to be enough. The count... Oh, my gosh. All right, well... Good game. This is kind of stupid because no one even plays choke in Modern anymore, to be honest. I'm covering... well, I guess by the time this comes out, I'll have just covered GPLA. And the number of chokes in the room, I could probably count on 2 hands and not need to go past that. So it was unfortunate to lose to it 2 games in a row here on MTGO, despite having counter magic. But we also drew pretty poorly. We had turns where we could have drawn land, played Tempest Shin, had a giant beater that probably would have won the game by now. Or counter magic, and we... Just drew an unfortunate combination of cards, but hey, that's the way it goes. So I think the important thing to take from this, because any individual game or matchup testing, and you know, look at it, I record these videos and it's for fun, right? That's goal number 1. But goal number 2 is to give you a feel for how a deck plays out and to give you a wide variety of decks to see and find your niche in Modern and what you like to play. And that's what, you know, playing a deck like this does. This game, we lose the choke, but you can see that if our opponent either wasn't playing choke or didn't have 2 chokes and, you know, top decked their land or whatever you want to say, our deck would have worked and been a favorite in the matchup. So, you know, that's kind of the important thing to me is you look at it under that lens of what is this doing in the format and where is it going to match up well and where is it going to struggle. And yeah, spoilers, you're going to struggle against choke. But in general, I think this type of matchup is going to be fine. I don't really know that I have any ways to get out of this one. Close game, though. Even with all of this, it was close, right? That's the thing. We had 2 or 3 turns where if we hit a land drop, we were going to be able to Tempest Shin. And I was saving Tempest Shin for post-Wrath type board state. Oh, we're just getting overrun. Good game. Yeah, I was saving the Tempest Shin for a post-Wrath there. So even after the choke, if we'd hit it, they could have Wrathed. I could have played Tempest Shin. We would have killed him in 2 turns. Tapped lands or not. But didn't quite work out. But that's all right. That's how it goes, everybody. Thank you for watching. This deck has been a lot of fun, and weren't quite able to get that one, but still a good match. Hey, everybody. Here we go with some more Burchett blue, and our opponent, well, they've got some Goblin Guides. So, all right. Mono blue versus mono red. Let's do it. Merfolk Trickster on top. I don't know what this matchup's like. I imagine this matchup is probably not great for us, particularly, you know, on the draw without a 1-drop. That said, double Spell Pierce pretty good. So we'll see what we can do here. Vapor Snag, not terrible either. Trickster, good. I mean, basically, it feels like the way I'm looking at least this particular game. Oh, is it Goblins instead? Interesting. Well, let's see if the Goblin guy gives me a land. Did not. A Siren Storm Tamer. Well, I guess I'll snag it. Save myself the 2 damage this turn. Cost them slightly more mana next turn anyways. It also means I get a pass with the Merfolk Trickster up. You know, my opponent probably doesn't pay the Echo here. They come in with the Goblin token and the Goblin Guide. And I can get a free block in on the token and then trade with the Goblin Guide next turn, I suppose. I think that's probably what we're looking to do. What I would like is for my opponent to reveal a land with that Goblin Guide and give us 1, please. Against other opponents, you could use your opt and your peaks to find your lands. And clearly I'd like to, but for now at least, we just need to try to mitigate the damage we're taking. So I assume our opponent's on goblins, and that inevitably means goblin grenades. It always means goblin grenades. Or I suppose a frenzied goblin. Interesting. And a Foundry Street Denizen, huh? Okay. Fair enough. Well, maybe I should just play these spells instead. Try to go find our land this way. Take the one. See what we can do here. I mean, we're going to have to find land. Let's see what our opponent's working with. Oh, no. That's a pretty good hand. Legion Loyalist, Goblin Grenade, Goblin Gride, Reckless Bushwhacker. Okay, well, that's pretty good. There's our land. Siren Stormtamer, just all one drops might be fine. I already have one though. No, heck, I'm in. Let's take it. Play it on out there. Well, these Spell Pierces might be great. They might not. I don't even know what I want my opponent to draw right now. Their hand is insane. Mog Fanatic, you say? Okay. Well, they're going to Mog Fanatic that down. Better get my stop in at the beginning of combat here. This is not Arena where it does it automatically. Yeah, I don't know. With these two Spell Pierces in hand, this game is certainly going to be tough. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do here. Legion Loyalist. Yeah, that comes in. It has haste. I guess I need to just tap this thing down. So we take, as little damage as possible this turn. And given the creature's first strike and whatever else trample, that doesn't do much if they only have one power. It does mean that, next turn when we get bushwhacked, we're going to probably just lose the game. I don't even know what I'm looking for here. This game's going to be challenging. Our deck is meant to be the aggressor, and if a deck is faster than us, yeah, that's gonna make it tough. And it probably doesn't help that we've actually just kind of flooded out on lands here. Our last 3 draws have been lands. I think our only hope here is to try to play defense, hope that we give value out of these Spell Pierces, and then find, something big. A Tempest Djinn, a Curious Obsession, something like that can really actually start pulling us ahead. But right now, I don't think, attacking is really getting us anywhere when our opponent is sitting on Bushwhacker. We just have to try to survive the early damage and then Spell Pierce the following finishers or whatever. The issue is if my opponent ever does get around to bushwhacking us, here comes the guide. This Legion Loyalist is going to make it so we can't block. Legion Loyalist is actually just incredibly annoying. Haste, whenever it and 2 other creatures attack, creatures get first strike, trample, and can't be blocked by tokens. It's actually just a very powerful card. Alright, let's see what the Goblin Guide reveals us. I suppose we can't attack this, or can't block this either. Oh, no, it means target creature can't block at all? Oh, we're just dead. I didn't realize that. That card is good. It's not that the Frenzied Goblin can't be blocked. It's that my Merfolk Trickster can't block. Well, that's just pretty powerful. Oh, there's a Tempest Djinn. I literally can't block. It does nothing. We're in a lot of trouble here. That's a big hit for not even being bushwhacked, right? I'll get in with the Storm Tamer. It's not doing any blocking, but I mean, we're just dead, right? Our opponent we actually just lost to this Frenzied Goblin. I shouldn't even have shown him the Tempest Djinn. All right, what the heck do we do here? I guess the Echoing Truce, maybe? I don't even know. Definitely cutting stuff like Peak. We just want to be as creature heavy as possible, I guess. This is just so bad. None of these cards are good at all against them. Oh my gosh, I just keep this deck. I don't even want to dismember. I don't even want to deal myself 4 damage to kill a goblin. Yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck. I mean, I guess Deprive is fine. I don't know if they're playing Goblin Chieftain, so I don't know if I want the Dismember for that. I'm going to cut a dive down, though. They're not unlikely to be shooting most of our creatures. All right, now we're on the play, though. Let's see if we can get a nice hand here and get out early and have, a Curious Obsession with backup, that sort of thing. And then hopefully just have enough creatures to spam the board out. The problem is, like I said, we want to be the aggressor, and when you play against a Bushwhacker deck, spoilers, the Bushwhacker deck is always the aggressor, and that's pretty bad for us because we have a lot of cards to protect our creatures, but all of our creatures are X1s for the most part. It's enough for our opponent to just to tear through them, as it were. So, all right, on to game 2, though. We'll see what we can do. Turns out this deck maybe not quite as powerful in Modern as it is in Standard, but it is still very good. Honestly, isn't Standard great right now? I've been playing a lot of Merfolk on Arena. Shout out to Hall of Famer Raph Levy, who went 8-2 with Merfolk in the constructed portion of the tournament. 8-2, everybody. That's right. Definitely going to be streaming a bunch of that over the next couple weeks. It's a really cool deck. It's like all 1-drops. Jade Bearers make an appearance. It's definitely cool. And the nice part is, this maybe matters a little more for best of 3 than best of 1. On Arena, best of 1's all mono white, all mono red. Occasionally you get a control deck. It's a very different metagame than best of 3. But I will say, in best of 3s at the Mythic Championship, Raph went 6-1 against Sultai. Sultai was the most played deck in the room. Trust me, I was part of the 3-person team that did all the archetyping for the entire event. All 499 deck lists I looked at, and we archetyped everything. So I know where the standard metagame is right now. Give me a week, I'll have no clue. But for the moment, I know. So that's and it's sweet. It's cool. Sultai was the most popular deck in the room, but it didn't even top 8. And how cool is that? If the best deck doesn't top 8, I think the top 8 had 5 archetypes in it. It's pretty neat. I hats off to Play Design for designing a really fun standard format. It looks like our opponent's disconnected, huh? There we go. I would like to play first. I guess I'll keep this. This is what we're talking about, right? 1-drops and Curious Obsessions. All right, our opponent has returned, and we get to play this sweet hand now. So I would love to draw a second land off of it, but this hand might actually beat a Goblin draw even. If we hit a second land here, and I get to go Curious Obsession plus Mausoleum Wanderer, or Pteramander or whatever, right? That would be sick. Even if we were to hit it after the draw step, or rather the extra draw from the Curious Obsession. Whew. Mog Fanatic, still pretty good though. Doesn't matter what year it is, Mog Fanatic's a good card. That said, it doesn't set us back that much. It does set us back because we don't hit a land. We basically loot. That does hurt, right? That Mog Fanatic hurts quite a bit, making us miss our land drop there, and our opponent, does have their second. So, not an ideal start, but not out of it by any means either. Honestly, my opponent could have... Ooh, a pile driver, huh? That looks fairly unbeatable. All right, there's our land. All right, it's pretty Curious Obsession on this thing. I don't know if we're going to beat Pile Driver, especially missing our land drop. Pile Driver is an extraordinarily broken card. For those who don't know, it's from Invasion or Legions or, I don't know, some old set, right? That was long before I started playing. But I remember when I did start playing and I played against this for the first time in Legacy playing Merfolk. Protection from blue. It's a 1/2. No big deal. This was reprinted in M15, I think. Whenever Goblin Pile Driver attacks, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn for each attacking Goblin. So yeah, this thing will just be swinging for 7 out of nowhere or 9 out of nowhere and we will die. So as cool as our start was, and we do have our lands now, and the Trickster's good, and honestly, I think we might still be able to get there, but you can also just get bushwhack and die out of nowhere to a Pile Driver. So I'll I'm not going to hold my breath quite yet here. That said, if they're play here, well, the Goblin Guide's pretty good. Goblin Guide was actually extremely important there for them. It represents a lot of extra damage, and there's nothing we can do about it. Dive down. Okay, that's probably not going to help. Well, we have to take the 5, and at least next turn we'll have access to a Trickster. We get to draw a bunch, you know. Basically, we could only lose the way this game is played out, right? We really only lose to something just silly out of the deck, but I mean that's what Bushwhacker decks do, so that makes it a little more difficult. Because I mean, this is like kind of objectively insane what we're doing right now, right? Double Curious Obsession going on right now. Can I get away with playing another? So how much if they just had what's on the board? I assume if they have a creature and a Bushwhacker, we can't win anyways, right? But let's see. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then this thing would get 8, and that's 13. Well, that's not dead. I think it still has to be the Trickster, though. I don't know that we can win no matter what we do here, but I do think that this Trickster is probably the best bet. You know, I have been pleasantly surprised. You know, I've been impressed a little bit with Trickster and Modern so far in this deck. It's, you know, it's performed pretty solidly. And it's a card a lot of times, like this game here, I'm like, well, if I don't have Trickster, I'm just dead. If I have Trickster, you know, I guess I have a shred of hope, but I'm just dead if I don't have the Trickster. So, unfortunately, Trickster cannot tap down the pile driver, and my opponent had what you would call the nuts. The best possible hand. Very close to it. The Monk Fanatic to stop us. The pile driver, which is the one card in their deck we actually just can't even attempt to race. But that said, I don't know if we were ever going to beat this, because this is pretty insane. I'll top down the Goblin Guide. I don't think it matters too much. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have. I don't think it matters too much, though. I think this just kills us. Yep. This card's dumb. This is back in a time when they printed these really absurd hate cards that should not exist, to be quite honest. I mean, it's a 2-mana 10-2. Get out of here. What am I supposed to do about that? And I conveniently take 16 damage, which is enough. Oh, well, we got Goblins. It happens to the best of you. So it's all right, everybody. It was a good game. Thank you very much for watching. This deck has been a lot of fun. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the deck tech for Burchett Blue, or Mono Blue Tempo, whatever you want to call it. But, hey, Autumn Burchett won the Mythic Championship with this deck, so they get the credit, right? That's how it works. I wanted, you know what? I try to have fun names for my decks, and I can't think of anything better than to name it after the person who won the Mythic Championship with a Miscloaked Herald. All right? Merfolk winning, I'm in. Anyway, so what we're doing to honor their win at the Mythic Championship in Cleveland, which was awesome. I got to cover it. I got to cover the finals. It was really neat. But we're playing Mono Blue Tempo in Modern. That's right. Curious Obsession, you're not done with it yet. I don't even know if this is good. I'm not going to say I brewed it, right? Because it's pretty straightforward. But I had some fun with it. And I do have to shout out my friend James at my store who gave me the idea and definitely suggested some of these cards, including the Mausoleum Wanderers. So definitely excited about this one. So what is it? It's basically the mono blue deck that Autumn Burchett won the Mythic Championship with. We did cut a Tempest Chin. We want to keep the curve really low here. 17 islands, all different art. Your Curious Obsessions, but the creatures we get in the modern version, yeah, you see all these 1-drops here, right? We get the normal ones, right? You get your Pteramanders, your Siren Storm Tamers, and these are already the best 1-drops anyways, but now you add Mausoleum Wanderer, and I love this one. When there's a battlefield, another spirit enters the battlefield, you get +1/+1 on it. That's cool. Sacrifice it, counter target instant or sorcery, where X is its power. So if its power has been buffed by a different, another spirit coming in, or its power has been buffed by a Curious Obsession, or what have you, it's going to get the job done to counter some stuff. So think about it. We have 8 of our 1-drops pick up a Curious Obsession, but they also protect our other creatures. And we have the same cantrips, right? But more. We have Opt. I threw in a couple peaks in here. Honestly, I might change. I don't know. I'm really unsure if I want more cantrips, and this is a pretty sweet one looking at their hand, or if I want basically curiosity, right? Another curious obsession effect. But it's got to be cheap. Everything in this deck's cheap. We got Pteramanders. We got Vapor Snags in Modern. Return target creature to its owner's hand. They lose a life. I played the heck out of this in Merfolk for a long time. Spell Pierces, of course, in the main deck. 2 mana spells. Now, I went with the 4 mana leak here, and this could be wrong. It's also possible, and you know what? Let's just do it now. I'm actually going to make an executive decision here on this deck that I brewed, but that I've been brewing anyways. We're actually going to go to 18 lanes. We're going to cut a mana leak. I think that's okay. You always want 18, and we are, of course, playing 3 drops. So the snag, the Dismember, basically functions as a snag, depending on your meta. Copter in here, because why not? It's a sweet card. Merfolk Tricksters. I think this is good enough for Modern, even non-Merfolk deck. I think this card's just good enough at getting rid of blockers and stopping weird things from killing you and lots of good stuff. It's a flash creature. It's possible, and I theory crafted a lot with some people on this, is whether you want Snapcaster Mage, you know, or Rattle Chains even, something like that, other options. But I think that Merfolk Trickster might just be the best choice. Snapcaster Mage is a 3 mana play. You don't have a lot of islands. You don't have a lot of lands in this deck. And you start looking at something else, it's like, is the effect you get out of something else better than tapping down their creature and making it lose all abilities? Probably not. So that's the deck, everybody. Burchett blue, mono blue tempo. Sideboard, pretty straightforward here. And again, this is just the sideboard that I came up with. We're mono blue, so you have to stretch a little bit. But you know what? More Spell Pierces, of course. Echoing Truce, bounce any problematic permanents. Negates, deprives. That's your counter magic suite. You're another Dismember. You need it, you're playing against Infect or whatever. Relics for Graveyard Hate. Now, these could be Tormod's Crypts, and maybe they should be, because they do have some anti-synergy with your Pteramanders, but I don't know how important that is, right? I don't know if drawing the card, it makes it better, right? Or if you just want to do something, you know, like Grafdigger's Cage, right? That just might even be a better option, so I don't have any throw in here right now, but just something to keep in mind at home. And then Spreading Seas for Tron. We got to have something for Tron here in addition to the counter magic. You know, Ceremonious Rejection is one that you could try out. I definitely would suggest that if you're interested in going that route. But I decided to just keep it pretty straightforward for this test. Because mainly I'm interested in seeing what the main deck plays like here. So everybody, that's the deck. If you're watching this at the end or the beginning, either way, I hope you're enjoying the content. Thank